Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 1505. I'm your host, Mike Matthews. I've become an Alabama woman, is what I am now, and I'm going to accuse Roy Moore because he's horrible. 1505, Roy Moore. Now, I spent 2 years in Alabama. I don't really
Mike's Daily Podcast
even remember reading about Roy Moore or hearing about him, but maybe that's because I'm one of the lucky ones.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But today, I'm going to talk to Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere, the engineer. And this is something perhaps you didn't know. It's maybe not clear that the song by Green Day called Holiday is an awesome song, and it pertains so much today. This is our lives on holiday. That one.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I bet you're dreaming different from those hollowed eyes. Yeah, that's how I feel
Mike's
right now.
Daily
My eyes
Podcast.
can barely be open.
Yeah!
It's 5:33 in the morning. So I have been watching this Irish Castles documentary on Netflix. Just about the time I'm thinking I'm going to quit Netflix, something sucks me back in. Oh, so you got this kind of a large guy, and he's talking all about the Irish castles and all the interesting history about all that. I love it. Oh, it's the best thing ever. Look who walked in. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. Oh my God, what are you doing? I was doing an Irish accent. Oh, okay. We sold a lot of stuff on Black Friday. I still haven't stocked the gift shop back up. Why do you do that thing with when you're trying to say words that have SH in it? What are you talking about? Look who else walked in. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Floyd always sounds like he's crying. He does! What the heck there? I don't know! It's strange! I don't know what's causing it. I know what it is. What? Allergies.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, allergies. Yeah, it's going around. That's what it is. So the Russians helped Trump.
America elected Donald Trump. And yeah, the Russians helped.
And here's today's podcast picture.
That was Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren. Pocahontas for 2020. Woo! 2020. Here we go. The podcast picture today. Oh, I wanted so much to this podcast picture to be the beautiful sunset one that I did, but now I'm not so sure. Yeah, that's not a good one either. It's going to be something Christmassy. How about that? Yeah, we'll do that. What recently someone at my work was let go. And that means now I have to do his old job of which required me, which I had to do, take what we call meter readings. A meter reading in radio is you observe the amount of power that is going through your transmitter that allows you to be able to broadcast on the airwaves. So you have to go and look and there's numbers. Oh, and what is required is dialing. Actually hitting numbers and dialing. And it is so weird in our world where we don't ever dial anymore. We just hit a button on our phones and it dials for us. And I don't even know phone numbers anymore. If I see a phone number I don't recognize that doesn't have a name attached, that I haven't already gone, oh, you are this person, I don't even answer it. Just FYI, if you're trying to call me and you don't put the thing. I'm going to put this picture with the transmit. No, I'm going to put the picture. Oh, we'll go to the same stash of pictures I used yesterday for the ship that I saw in San Mateo. This nice little Christmas ship. I think I'm going to have another picture here this time We'll go with one, and we'll go with the sunset over that street that goes down. Is it Hesperian? Llewellyn? One of those streets in the San Leandro. We'll go with that one. That's sunset. I can't decide today. My decision process. No, we're going to go with this one with the nice little houses. Okay, that's good. We'll do that. At any rate, see that picture at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. This is Foster City, California. I indecisive today. Just indecisive. But dialing numbers again is interesting. On my way to work, I passed by a restaurant called Val's. It's in Castro Valley, although it kind of feels like it's in Hayward. But Val's serves everything a la carte. And they're known for their burgers. And these puppies are huge. And I just had this thought as I'm driving by Val's that how many people has Val's killed? Val's probably killed a bunch of people. By the way, my property manager's named Val. So when I drive by, I think about my property manager in Alabama, Val. In Valabama. Who's going to vote for Roy Moore next week? A week from today. I won't bet on it, but I'm pretty sure. And she's nice, my property manager. But Val, the restaurant, is... Why? It just everything. First off, a la carte, I don't like that. If you're going to serve crappy food, at least give me a combo. At least supersize it. Make it worth my while. Make it cheap. Make it great. I went to Red Robin last week. I had a free burger, and I could not believe how tiny it was. Their big selling point now, gourmet burgers, because of that Shake Shack or whatever restaurant got so popular. And that, with these gourmet burgers costing $12 each. No, burger. The whole point of a burger is it's ground up beef. It's ground. It's the quality of the beef has already been brought down. Oh, but it's fresh, Mike. It's fresh. All the ingredients are fresh. You take that word fresh and you shove it, because I'm sick of people throwing that word around so much. That quality, freshness, freshity, fresh. It means nothing now. Like the word, the label organic doesn't mean anything. It's just a selling point. And if you are caving into that, just be aware of it. Just be aware of these sell words that get you to buy things that you don't need, that don't promise you what they say. That's my little cynical life world view of it. And this Irish Castle show is wonderful. And by the end of and the people on there, unfortunately, it's true. The stereotype is true. The teeth aren't so good over there in England, in Ireland. Oh my gosh, some of the teeth, you're like, what? How did that happen? Teeth that are not anywhere near the color white. Far on the opposite side of the spectrum. And not all there. A couple teeth missing. That's what we see on Irish Castles. But it's fascinating. And it doesn't have a lot of stupid reenactments. Oh, all those History Channel type shows got this bad reenactment stuff going on. This goes back to, I remember, what was that show? The stories you hear are fake. I'm Robert Stack. That guy, when he hosted that show, and he had these reenactment scenes that were just terrible. They pay these actors and actresses barely anything. Kevin Spacey had to sleep on him. It was a bad life to be an actor then. But my point being, don't be a diva. Someone I know has to work with someone that's generally a nice person, but suddenly this person went completely full on 100% diva. And that's bad. If someone ever shows signs of diva-ishness, divahood, divashi, what's the disease for diva disease? If you become a diva, no. I can't work with you. You can't work with yourself if you're a diva. You gotta don't unleash the diva. Leash the diva. Keep that diva back. Now it's getting very, I know, like there's chained up divas, that may not be where we want to go with this discussion. I don't know. If that's the kind of discussion you want, maybe you need to listen to another podcast. But the point is, this poor guy had to deal with this diva, and it was not fun for him. So just be aware of your divaness, be aware of freshness, and be aware of net neutrality. This is going to be overturned, I guess, next week. And I honestly don't know what it's going to do. Are you going to be able to still listen to this podcast? That's my main concern. If you can't hear it, or if it stops every 5 seconds because it's buffering, I don't want that to happen. So I'm worried about the net neutrality. From the stuff I've read, it doesn't sound like something I should be pro. At the same time, I am a capitalist to a certain extent. I don't think, though. So when I moved to Alabama and I got the hell out of California, I totally bought into the whole, all these stupid regulations we have in California, all these stupid taxes, all these stupid fees we have to pay for this, so we can have that and that and that. I'm just done with it. But when I got to Alabama, I started to see, hey, maybe we do need a little regulation. Maybe that the fact that we don't have any laws saying, hey, you can't have a car just completely torn up and sitting on your front yard. Maybe that's something we need rules for. But the end of the world is here because the Winklevosses are back in the news. And apparently they have helped turn Bitcoin into a $1 billion baby. The guys that were played by, what's his face? Armie Hammer in the Social Network movie that had Jesse Eisenberg in there. Eisenberg. They famously won a $65 million settlement against Facebook in 2011, and they were in that movie. They later used some of that money to purchase what they said was $11 million worth of Bitcoin. This was 4 years ago. That was at about 1% of all Bitcoin in circulation at the time. They later also spent almost $1 million to buy more Bitcoin later in 2013. And right after Silk Road, an illicit marketplace on the so-called dark web was seized by the FBI. While some Bitcoin users were afraid that Silk Road represented a significant amount of spending in the cryptocurrencies, the twins saw opportunity. Assuming that the brothers have not sold any of those holdings, that stake in Bitcoin is now well worth over $1 billion, given the cryptocurrency's price Monday of about $11,500. Yeah, it shot up. It was at $9,000 about a week ago, right after Thanksgiving. Here's the thing, though. When you get that ransomware stuff going on, they want you to pay those awful people that take over your files and stuff. They want you to pay them in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's got this bad reputation right now. That's why I don't want to be a part of it. I talked to someone who's in the financial world. A couple people I've talked to say, no, it's not a good idea. You wait and see. It has to be regulated. That's where regulation becomes necessary. My point about net neutrality, though, is if you're now throttling back throttling. Oh, people are saying throttle all the time now. It's so fun. Because when I think of a throttle, I think of an old car. I think of the kind that, like ancient. That kind of. So Conyers is out, and he won't seek re-election in wake of the harassment claims. Now, it's all about the Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank connections to Russia. Did you know? And so Robert Mueller's looking in on that. His investigation, Robert Mueller, into alleged Russian meddling in the U.S. elections has widened. It's so fascinating. People are fascinated by where Mueller is taking this. He's issued a subpoena to Germany's largest lender, forcing the bank to submit documents on its client relationship with Trump and his family. Deutsche Bank also cooperates with investigating authorities in all countries Deutsche Bank for months has rebuffed calls by Democratic lawmakers to provide more transparency over the roughly $300 million Trump owed to the bank for his real estate dealings prior to becoming president. Yeah! He had this huge bill with the bank, and it was just completely forgiven and disappeared. So there's some misery. That's maybe a word. Representative Maxine Waters of California and other Democrats have asked whether the bank's loans to Trump, made years before he ran for president, were in any way connected to Russia. The bank previously rejected those demands, saying sharing client data would be illegal unless it received a formal request to do so. Deutsche Bank management is ready to share information about the lender's dealings with Trump and is hopeful that doing so will help end the series of inquiries from Democrats. The news comes as Mueller's investigation, which is looking into alleged Russian interference into last year's U.S. elections, appears to be entering a new phase. Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, pled guilty Friday to lying to FBI agents. We talked about that last show. So, yeah, what the heck? And, oh my gosh, the winds last night. I could barely get any sleep last night because of the winds. I did get about 6 hours. I was so happy about that. But then all of a sudden, the knocking outside from the wind. Well, back where I used to live in Ventura, where I was once evacuated, I used to live kind of in the hills above downtown Ventura. And one day these fires were coming pretty close. And I had to leave for work. And as I was walking down the steps from my place, the police officer said, "Are you leaving?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, that's called a voluntary evacuation. You can't come back until we lift the evacuation." And I go, "Okay." And I was, wow, I had taken with me some important papers and stuff that I didn't mind, that I made sure, that wouldn't go up in smoke. Well, a fast-moving, wind-fueled wildfire swept into the city of Ventura early yesterday, burning 25,000 acres, destroying multiple homes and forcing thousands to evacuate. The extent of the losses were unclear. The prospects for containment weren't good. The destruction comes in what was already the worst year on record for wildfires here in California. And one dead from that fire. And the Supreme Court has weighed in over the case of the cake not being sold for the same-sex wedding. A Christian baker in Colorado. They are actually set to hear arguments in the case for that today. 9 justices are due to hear an appeal brought by Jack Phillips in one of the biggest cases of the conservative majority court's 9-month term. The justices must decide whether the bake's action was constitutionally protected. You'll probably hear the outcome of that maybe later today. The Supreme Court legalized gay marriage in 2015. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I must throttle through the rest of the day as we are living all on holiday. Now, that's it. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Make sure to check out the podcast picture at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-1505-Throttle. Also, that is where you can email me, and you can also call me. Let me know what you think. If you have opinions about what I've zipped through today, you can call me at 336-MM-DAILY. That's 336-MM-DAILY. And you can also email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. Why, Ariel has more about that in just a moment. And there's also a PayPal at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com if you'd like to help us out that way. Thank you.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.